Okay, hello and good evening once again. Thank you for joining the Techies Hangout, the fourth edition of it that we have. So it's 3:10 and we don't want to waste our time. So we get to the matter on time. So Mercy Philip Okoronkwo is our moderator for today's event. So he will take over from here now. Mercy Philip. All right, it's online, but it's not talking. So let me just take the role for now. So welcome once again to the event today. And this event, we have moved it online because of the situation in the country now that there's still partial lockdown on events. It will have been a physical event, but all things being equal, we're here, and we really appreciate you all for coming. Yeah, this event is sponsored by some of our partners, Access Solutions Limited, Sophos, Management Edge, and Cyber Security Challenge. So we really appreciate them for this. And this is the agenda for the event of today. We have 5 minutes or 7 minutes behind the schedule. So with this, we start with the opening prayer, which is the second stanza of the national anthem. So as many of us that can unmute ourselves, so let us read along. 1, 2, go.
O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, living just and true, great lofty heights and to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
All right. I will hand over to the moderator now. It's online. Mercy Okoronkwo.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My chapter chair, thank you very much for this version 4 of the Techies Hangouts, a program of the Nigerian Computer Society, Abuja chapter. Our respected panelists in today's event, our national executive of the Nigerian Computer Society, fellows of this society, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the society who are hosting this event. I want to welcome us, like the chairman has already mentioned, although officially we are still going to bring him in to give us a welcome remarks. But time is of an essence. We want to see how to cover all that we should cover, giving our panelists the time they ought to have so that they can drive home the topic we have for this version, looking at digital money and the future economy. For us as Nigerians, there have been mixed feelings. We have had our regulators, without asking questions, has taken some drastic steps, and they have returned back again to see what should be the best way to handle this phenomenon which has come to stay with us. It has come to stay. Other parts of this world are making progress in the use of digital money, but we wanted to, we thought it was not time for Nigeria or Africa, as the case may be. But today we're going to hear from people who are in the sector proper, who will look at all the dimensions of digital money and the future which we are all looking up to, especially in our times where life is more of online than physical. So again, I want to welcome us. I don't have information whether our national deputy national president is here, but let me ask the chairman to officially give us a remark. Then we will find out others who are here who can give us a remark. If not, we will run into this program whenever they appear, or maybe at the flip side, we can also have them speak to us. The chairman, Olusegun Alabi, chapter chairman, Nigerian Computer Society, Abuja, he will right away give us his opening remarks on this program. We have run the first 3 editions, and this is the 4th one. Chairman, what do you have to tell the listening public before we continue?
All right, thank you very much, Hamasi Philip Okoroko. He doubles as the chairman of the TECHIES Hangout team. We have a team that actually work very hard to bring up this TECHIES Hangout. So he has been leading the team from the fashion 1 to this 14, fashion 4 that we are. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman's welcome address. So thank you very much. I welcome everyone once again to this event, which is actually the 4th one of it that we have. So thank you very much. Say, what is TECHIES Hangout about? TECHIES Hangout is formed as an event that we propose to be physical, virtual, TV and radio series where IT professionals will discuss trending issues and prospective IT development in relation to businesses, national economy, the security and youth development, and to bring about actionable efforts in resolving related issues through professional collaborations. So we have planned it that it will be a physical event, which we actually had as a launch in January 2020, because before of the emergence of the COVID-19, so which actually make us to move it forward. And we plan that, okay, it's going to be a TV series or radio series program where we can gather IT professionals to discuss issues that are trending or that can bring about national development. So that's what we have in mind to bring out. And the first of it, the topic we had was the robots versus human who get the next job. So it's actually something that we look at. The robots are taking jobs from people, people are concerned, and we are able to actually allay the fears from people that development is actually most important in this age, so that one can actually meet up with the trends that is going. Then the second one, we have identity and access management in developing economy. Yeah, so which actually told us about the identity management. And on this, we were able to get the DG, NIMSI, to tell us what they have done in the national identity management of Nigeria. So it's actually recorded a good impact on our society. Then the third one, which we did last, was leveraging virtual technology for workforce development. So when everyone cannot go to work again and the virtual becomes the norm, so we look at it as, okay, we're supposed to have a way to actually tell people about the virtual technology and how it can improve their businesses or develop whatever they are doing. Then today we have come with this digital money and the future. So there have been issues around Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, other other digital currencies too. Then we look at it that, okay, the technology is going to a point where everything we'll be doing, we actually, or most things that we'll be doing, will be by digital transfer, digital wallet, and all sorts like that. So that's what brought about this. Then the digital money, which is also known as digital currency, is any form of money or payments that exist only in electronic form. So you don't carry paper, you don't carry everything like that. So digital money lacks a tangible form, such as a bill or check. So you want to transfer money to somebody, you don't issue check. From your comfort of your own, you just transfer money. You have a wallet somewhere other than the conventional bank. So, and you can actually transact business like that. So that's the reason why we want to actually talk about it. As the technology becomes increasingly prominent, payments are becoming more digital, resulting in less use of tangible money. So the future of world economy is just digital money. So we have actually assembled some of our professionals to talk about digital money, to give us the definition that we don't know about it, to tell us how it's come about and how we can make use of it. Because many people are afraid, like Bitcoin, they said some people have a lot of money in the wallet, but maybe they forgot their password. So the money is gone. So, and all sorts like that. So we, our panelists will do justice to this today. So once again, I welcome us to this Techies Hangout Fashion 4. And please, let us make it participatory. We have said in the beginning that we have some gifts, prizes for people. One of our partners, Sophos, who is giving us a 5-home premium license of Sophos. One license can be used on 10 systems, and it's worth $450. So another partner has given us 10 EC Council certified secure computer user certification voucher. So this one includes training. They will give you online training and you will do the certification. Yeah, to still boost our CV. So 10 people will be going with that. Then those people that win this, we feature them in our report on our websites. So let us try as much as possible to make it participatory and limited time that we have. So Marcy, thank you very much. You can take over again. Moderator. All right, let me just proceed. Some of our people that will do they are not online. The president, deputy president, ES. So
I'm back.
Let's just move this one to the remark at the end. Oh, all right.
All right. Okay, yes. That's my suggestion. Let's keep the remarks for the end if they join us, because already our special panelists for the day are present, and we need to maximize the time to, as it were, harness from their wealth of experience. Again, it is clear on our flyer, we have Alhaji Ajijola, Chairman, African Union CSEG. We also have, all right, we also have from the University of Ilorin, Dr. Bimbola Akintola is here, lecturer, computer science department of that university. Dr. Kenneth Okera for DGM ICT, National Health Insurance, NHIS, is also here. And we have Chris Odetola, sales engineer, Sophos, is also available. And I think in that order, I'm going to give them 5 minutes each for them to get the ball rolling. Like the chair said, let's have some background, introduction of what is digital money, the economy, how does the two fix in, security of digital money and our economy, especially talking from a Nigerian perspective, an African perspective, where a lot of other infrastructure, we still have challenges on some other infrastructure, ICT infrastructure, how you can have a stable network and all of that. So we want that first 5 minutes for each of our panelists to take a round that we'll see issues and areas that are still untouched. We will now see what will happen on the wrap-up round. Okay, like I said, our own member of the Nigerian Computer Society here in Abuja, an ambassador. We still have challenges on some other infrastructure. ICT infrastructure. Alhaji Ajijola will take the first shot, the first 5 minutes, and then in that order, Dr. Bimbola will follow, Dr. Kenneth will come online, and then finally, Chris, before we take the second round to wrap up. Again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Alhaji, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me to make an intervention today, and thank you, colleagues, for logging in. So let's try and hit the ground running. First of all, let us understand what is money, ego, owo, kudi, depending on what you want to call it. Yeah. Money, in effect, is a trusted intermediary of value. Money evolves. Our ancestors used, at a point in time, salt. Some used cowries. Some started using gold. And in fact, many of our parents, including to a limited extent, some of us, especially the older ones amongst us, used printed pieces of paper, which we euphemistically called cash. So when somebody is trying to kill you because of cash, or somebody is trying to kill somebody else because of cash, they are actually just trying to kill you because of paper. So we then saw an evolution of this trusted intermediary of value into cards, basically a plastic card with a chip on it. Your ATM card is an example. And then we've now seen the evolution of new forms of electronic money, basically zeros and ones, codes flying about. And we now have, we are on the cusp of virtual money. Some of us also know it as cryptocurrency or digital currency. And if I may just point out that digital currency and cryptocurrency are very similar in terms of the technology and the platform. They sit on what's called the blockchain ledger platform. But the primary difference, as far as I understand, is that digital currencies tend to be government developed and controlled, while cryptocurrencies are really non-government, private sector, and so on. So the bottom line is that also government-controlled currencies traditionally are called fiat currencies. They are usually the legal tender that you and I use. Now, underneath all of this is a key word, trust. Businesses, our economy, indeed our society, indeed even the relationships between individuals are underpinned by trust. And so if you do not trust the platform, do not trust the medium, whether it is salt or whether it is cryptocurrencies, then basically people will not use it. And just because you have trust in a particular platform doesn't mean members of society may not invest in other physical or virtual assets. Now, the interesting thing that we face is that there is competition over trust and ease of use between cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized in most places, and the currencies of governments, which are, are the digital currencies issued by central banks as a new form of fiat money. But the nice thing about it is that this competition actually creates opportunities for Africa in particular, because this is a new thing for everybody. I'd like to go into a few other things, but I think let me allow my colleagues, panelists, to also say a few words. Then when it comes back to me, I will continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that intro. Like you said, we'll have a round two. From the University of Ilorin, we have a lecturer, another colleague, the Nigerian Computer Society, Dr. Abimbola, will bring forward her dimension as we start to build the foundation of this topic, digital money and the future economy. Doctor, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good day,
thank you.
You're welcome.
For having me. Please
Welcome.
let me share this slide that I prepared. But while it's coming up, I can just go ahead. Like Alaji has said, I won't want to go over what he has already said, but digital money simply means we want to look at any currency, money-like assets that is primarily managed or stored. Sorry, slide is not. Okay, let me just continue. Maybe later I'll put it up. The is actually like any money-like asset that is primarily managed or stored or exchanged on digital computer system, especially over the internet. So the digital money may be recorded on a distributed database on the internet, or it can be on a centralized electronic computing database owned by a company or even by a bank within digital files, or even on a stored valued card. So when we talk about digital money, we're talking about what is available, the trend today, cryptocurrencies, virtual currencies, central bank digital money. But let us streamline it to let us streamline it to cryptocurrency, since that is the focus of virtually everybody today. And it's actually a form of payment that may be exchanged online for goods and services, and it can also be traded for profit. So apart from using it to exchange for goods and services, you can also use a cryptocurrency to trade for profit. And many companies have issued their own currencies, often called tokens, and can also be traded specifically for the goods and services provided by that company. So cryptocurrencies work usually using technology called blockchain, and blockchain is like a decentralized technology spread across many computers that manages and records transactions. So when you are talking about blockchain, it's actually the backbone of your cryptocurrency. And the main advantage blockchain has is that it is decentralized. It's not in one particular place. So it's actually what makes the cryptocurrency technology a bit appealing to people that go into it. So today, many people actually prefer to use cryptocurrency instead of the traditional physical money. And the main reason is that it is faster and easier to use. And you just simply have to bring out your fast phone, your smartphone, to start your transactions. So I'll look at it that how many cryptocurrencies do we have available today? There are a lot of different currencies. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are traded. So according to the coinmarketcap.com, which is actually market research websites, you have multiple people offering different coins every day. And the value of cryptocurrency as at last month stands at $1.7 trillion. And it keeps, though there was a time it came down, it also keeps increasing, though Bitcoin happens to be the most popular of all the cryptocurrencies. So why are they so popular? Simply means that this, from what people believe, simply means that they actually appeal to their supporters for a variety of reasons, such as the use of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin as a currency for the future. People see it as the future currency. So everybody wants to buy it now, presumably before it becomes too expensive to purchase. So you want to have, since this is a currency of the future, let me actually have some of it. Some supporters like the fact that cryptocurrency removes central banks from managing their money supply. Since over time, central bank can decide to actually reduce the value of your money via inflation. So instead of having central bank control what my money is going to worth, let me actually go into cryptocurrency. That's the reason why some people invest in it. Other supporters like the technology behind it, which is the blockchain. Some speculators also like cryptocurrencies because they are going up in value and have no interest in the currency long-term acceptance as a way to move the money. Once you are also into this, there is need to protect yourself. Or let's say if you are looking to buy a particular cryptocurrency in an initial company offer, you need to read the line. You need to read every line of the company prospectus for their information. Who owns the company? Is there an identifiable and well-known owner? That would actually give the company a positive sign. Are there other major investors who are investing in this particular currency? Will you have a stake in the currency, or you just want to buy some, just to have some currency or some tokens? Is the currency already developed, or is the company looking to raise money to develop the country? So these are some of the things you need to look at before you go into any of this. And it can take a lot of work to comb through the company prospectus. The more detailed it is, the better the chances that it is actually legitimate. Even if it is legitimate, it doesn't mean that the currency will succeed. And that is actually an entirely separate question, whether it's going to succeed or is not going to succeed. So digital money or cryptocurrencies have potential to enable our social and economic growth throughout the world, especially in Africa and other developing countries, by offering us easier access to capital and financial services. So cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular have a high quality that has slowly but steadily started to interfere with the way the traditional system works, such as the benefits that we have in our economic system. Apart from the benefits, we also have great opportunities for poorly banked countries. So more than a third of the world population that does not have access to basic banking services can help themselves out in case of personal financial crisis. So these people that are in most cases are already in financial disadvantage typically resort to doubtful and dangerous lending practices. So the interest rate of the practices is not fair, which consequentially leads to more instability among the people that request for the loan. So this is where the cryptocurrency comes in with their own high volatility and ease of use. So apart from that, you also have low transaction costs, unlike the traditional banking. When you are doing that one, is actually at a reduced cost, and you also have increased transparency of your transaction, and you also have more power to entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of economic impact of cryptocurrencies on the job market. It has actually, the rise of cryptocurrency has brought with it an entire industry that has dedicated to supervising cryptocurrency exchanges that take place throughout the world. So while some early adopters have become rich quickly, others have developed companies that rely on trading as their source of income. So if you look at the benefits, it includes a secret identity. The people who use it can keep their identity a secret. They are anonymous and it's kind of confidential. You also have security. This is fundamental aspect because you completely trust. This is where you decide to trust them. You completely trust that you are not going to be the money is not going to be stolen. And also, hacking might not be that easy, and you also have a transparency where you have a absolute information that are stored on public books to achieve
Doctor, hello, Doc.
I'm with you.
Yes, I don't know whether you want to tie it up here. You will take another round. So let's get the first round for every of the panelists.
Okay, I think
I understand. I'm dealing with the lecturer now. All right,
sorry.
Tie it up somewhere. Let's get the other participants also take their turn. Then we'll come back to you. God bless you there. Can I go ahead? Or you wanted to get us to a point?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma, for those dimension. More foundation that we are building. I think I like that. Okay, like I said, next on the roll, Dr. Kenneth, who is in the public sector proper, although an ICT person. So Dr. Ken, please, can we also have your intro, as it were? Doctor said he will not go to the things that Alhaji has spoken. So let's keep widening it as the presenter is
Hello,
presenting.
good evening, everyone.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening.
You're welcome,
Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, Doc. You're welcome.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. If you can enable me, I want to share my screen. Thank you.
All right. Chairman, please do that for him.
Screen sharing is still disabled. If you can allow that, please. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody's handling that, sir. Sorry about that.
Can go ahead, sir.
All right. Hello, Doc. Are you good? Dr. Ken? Hello, Dr. Ken?
Oh, I think we have lost him. For network or
Hello,
so.
can you hear me?
Oh, fine. Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back. Yeah.
All right.
Can you now share your screen as requested? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes. Positive.
Okay, thank you. The screen is shared now, and I will rather speak on addressing the cybersecurity concerns on digital money, of course, with a view on the future economy. With regard to other participants and discussants who have already had an introduction, I will just go straight and give a brief definition and then look at the forms of digital money. And we look at some of the cyber threats that are exposed and then the impacts. And if time permits, or maybe in the second round, we'll now talk about the remedies to the cybersecurity issues. By definition, people have already mentioned digital money is money in electronic form. It can take any form at all, any type of payment system facilitated by digital technology. These are also tied around computer implementations because currencies are stored in electronic media, and that makes it very easy as forms of payment. As a result, of course, digital money is very mobile, it's very convenient. It also allows for multi-party exchange from one geography to another. The various forms are many. Point of sale, which we all know for payments, our automated teller machine, the ATM, Even our electronic payment apps, so many of them, which facilitate internet and mobile banking, and of course facilitate e-commerce and e-business. There are physical tokens, there are electronic cards, including debit and credit cards, e-wallet, even the unstructured supplementary service data, which is popularly called USSD, for making payments and for transacting virtually. And of course, the cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin, of course, using the blockchain technology. These are all forms of digital money. As beneficial as they are also exposed to a lot of cyber threats. And one of them is identity theft. We hear of theft of financial data every day from one bank to the other, or also in the form of malware action, especially considering the fact that the apps are software themselves, which could also have bugs, which could also have weaknesses that can be circumvented by cyber criminals through malware. Of course, this leads to unauthorized modification of transaction records, and this has great impact on those who utilize digital money. We are all very familiar with insider attacks and man-in-the-middle attacks. These two combined have a serious impact on digital money and the efficiency of digital money and the trust people also have for digital money and its utilization. Ransomware and cyberbullying put together pose serious threats to digital money. The reason is because when cyber criminals get hold of financial details of their target, they are able to make demands, yes. Apart from making demands, they are also able to use digital media to try to smear the image of the victim in a bid to lay that victim to part with the ransom. And digital espionage, social engineering, using phishing or smishing or phishing, but all have huge impact to money. That is revenue loss. You see any circumvention of a banking without loss of revenue, either in physical cash or virtual, or the cost of recovery. These are all service disruption, of course. Within the period happening, the individual is kind of docile and services are disrupted. Depending on of the interruption, one major economic impact is also education. People see that their funds have been tampered, and of course, this leads to legal tussle. It also leads to reputation damage because a cyber attack, in most occasions, cyber attacks are looked at as the entity having weak controls. So this goes a very long way to smearing the image of the victim. And of course, in the long run, this also leads to loss of trust on electronic payment and other technologies. When people begin to have apathy against the use of technology, then that's not a good thing. With all of these, we now need to begin to think of solutions. What can we do in the future, especially in the face of the new reality that come up to COVID? One of these is the fact that we have strong framework. New framework in all legislations and regulations, digital guide the use of electronic payment system in all forms. Yes, a lot of laws across each other, but they have a whole work that deal digital, especially in the cybersecurity concerns. To be more aggregating awareness, security, protecting the digital that digital. The reason is the more people are, the more they to identify as of and then they're able to respond faster. Then it is also important to note that cybersecurity
Doc, is
should
that your
never
last
be
slide?
thought of.
Hello, Doc. Is that your last
Yes,
slide?
it is.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
it is. Yes.
Okay, great.
So
Just fire on.
cybersecurity should never be looked as an afterthought. It should form a major part of the design for any banking system, especially where digital money is involved. There has to be mandatory adherence to security policies, especially as they relate to digital money. There are a lot of them, and all of these can be domesticated. Capacity building and awareness can never be compromised. And of course, there is that need to institute a conscious information security rule for most organizations that deal with digital money. And of course, cybersecurity professionals need to be more ethical. I would like to stop here.
Great.
Contributes.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much for that speed, and participants, be rest assured, you're going to have a link to listen to this again, and those that registered the right way will have your emails. So if there are materials that are necessary for you to get, I assure you, you're going to get those materials. Thank you again, Dr. Kenneth Okera of the NHIS here in the headquarters, Abuja. All right, that was really pretty fast. Next, we have Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris is going to take his own shots to this first round. Mr. Chris Odutola, please, can I spot you? Where are you, Mr. Chris? Can you?
Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen.
Oh, great, great.
Yes.
I hope you have the access now,
Not
Mr.
yet.
Chair.
Okay, yes, I do now.
Please, oh, great. So you have the floor, Mr. Chris.
All right. I've been trying to hide a couple of slides because my colleagues have they've done justice to almost everything, right? So, of course, like one of my colleagues mentioned, there are huge challenges with cryptocurrencies, with wallet security, and all that, criminal misuse, and especially money laundering. And that's one of the reasons why the CBN eventually had to clamp down on that. I read about the EFCC also saying millions of dollars have been funneled out of the country, into the country rather, through cryptocurrencies, and that's a huge challenge that we're going to try to fix with digital currency. So Nigeria itself is one of the highest adopters of cryptocurrencies, especially when it comes to the use of Bitcoin. A doctor from Ilorin, she also mentioned, blockchain. So I'm not going to talk about that a lot. I just want to say that blockchain has a way of keeping a record of all transactions. It's a digital ledger, meaning it has a record of everything that's happening, all the transfers that have been made from which address to which other address at what time. So you have a detailed record. The only thing you don't have is the actual, personnel who owns this account. So that's one of the challenges with regulations. They can't trace who's doing what, who's making these transactions. So we know the criminals, you know their addresses, but you don't know who they are. You can actually, monitor their accounts online. You don't even need to know them. So these are live accounts. I don't know who owns it, but you can see how much exactly was involved in this transaction and exactly what time it was made and all that. So these are the kind of information we have, but we can't trace such users. And that's one of the reasons why central banks don't like cryptocurrencies. Let's look at a real life case, El Salvador. You might have heard, I think 2 weeks ago, it became public that they have now accepted Bitcoin as a legal tender. So back in 2001, they stopped using their own currency called the colon. They accepted the USD as the cash. So right now, they have two legal tenders. That's the Bitcoin and the USD. So legal tender means that unlike in Nigeria, you can actually pay for services with Bitcoin in Nigeria, but you would need someone who is willing to accept the Bitcoin because it's not a legal tender. But right now in El Salvador, the payee, the person who's selling the product, has to accept Bitcoin if that's the method you want to use to pay. That's what it means. So this is a real life example of a country doing that. Someone asked a question, in the chat, and I responded, and I said I was going to mention Venezuela as a curious case because that's so eerily similar to Nigeria. Venezuela is is the country with the largest oil reserve in the world, about 8 times what we have in Nigeria. If you combine the oil reserves of the UAE, Russia, Libya, Nigeria, and the USA together, it's still not enough, compared to what Venezuela have. And they had huge issues with hyperinflation some years back. Things were so bad. If you look at the statistics right in front of you, this is all Venezuela. And considering how much they spend a lot of money on fuel subsidies. I think if I calculated it properly, the cost of a liter of petrol in Venezuela back then was about 30 naira to a liter, right? Just like we are paying so much on fuel subsidy. So transitioning to cryptocurrency to replace the Bolivar was not going to work. It never really materialized, right? So because they refused to fix the main problem, the economies of demand and supply and the rest, they still come to play, right? So they have all of this in place, but there was so much corruption, high poverty rates, and all of that, and it still couldn't fix that. So even if they moved their currency right now to the BTC or whatever it is, it still doesn't solve the problem they have, as a country. So why are we going to move to a CBDC eventually? Like my colleagues have already mentioned, it's very difficult to track, cryptocurrencies. So if CBDC, if the central bank came up with a CBDC, that's a central bank digital currency. In our case, could be NIG coin or could be NGNT. We don't know. It will make it easier for them to collect taxes. With a lot of people don't pay because we're a cash-driven society. We still pay in physical cash, despite the fact that we have access to mobile money, mobile banking, and the rest of that. So it's going to be easy for government to collect data. We've been talking about BVN, NIN, and what have you. Now is going to be the time for them to put it to use. So you're paying, a kidnapper is asking for ransom, and it has to be paid in the digital currency. It's going to be very easy to trace that person. You could actually see when it comes to budget spend, government releases a particular amount of money. You could track exactly how much was released and how the money moved from that point to the market, to the point where one of the contractors is using the money to pay for school fees, and one of the teachers who received payment salary from that is buying stuff at the market. So you could really trace everything down, just like I've shown in the case of the blockchain that you could use to track Ethereum and Bitcoin transactions. So that's also going to prevent fraud, because it will be easy to locate who are those people who are trying to do that. So when it comes to cybersecurity, we know about ransomware, where you get attacked, they ask you to pay a sum of money, and then you have to pay in Bitcoin, and the money is gone. You can't even track those guys. But now it becomes very difficult because the CBN will be able to have the power to track everyone. But this is going to be bad news for a lot of people who hold major cryptos like the likes of Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and the rest of that, because it's most likely that the CBN will have to ban such crypto exchanges. So currently there are several countries, even in Africa, that already rolled out their own digital currencies, like Tunisia and Senegal, and they're doing quite well with it. It's not really replacing, the cash as it were. It's just providing another alternative to make transaction easier. So I think I've been able to round up the first part so that we can move to the second phase. Just to add to what Dr. Okorafor said about the security part of it. There's no technology that cannot be defeated by social engineering, and that's the truth. And cryptocurrencies are not going to make that easier. So today with mobile money and the rest, we see people trying to hack into BVN, they steal your mobile line, they try to use USSD code to get your money out of the account and all of that. It's going to continue when we have digital currencies, only that it's going to be easier for us to trace where the money moved to, and then law enforcement will be able to effectively act to counter that. Thank you very much. Over to you, moderator.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris. Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. My chair will come in at the time, at least to take the second round. But let me just announce that let our eyes be on the chat box, so that when you're coming on your final round, if there are one or two interventions or issues raised, it would be good that we inculcate that into our 2-3 minutes final intervention or presentation from us. before I bring Alaji again, you know, there was what Chris just said now, that Venezuela wanted to use the digital money all through, but because they did not settle the issues, fundamental issues of demand and supply, you know, because of how down they were in the economy, so it couldn't work for them. Alaji, I want to say, for us as Nigeria, have we done better? Have we settled those fundamental issues that will really give us the leverage, to give us the advantage, you know, so that if we embrace it, like we see the signal is showing, central bank should harness itself instead of a ban. Let's see how to embrace. And Chris has told us that we can also run our physical money and digital money like those 4 examples, those 4 nations that are doing that way. So, Alaji sir, are we in the right footing? Can Nigeria say we are doing well, so that we don't get into the Venezuela type of scenario which he has just talked about? Let's welcome Alaji Ajijola again to take a few.
Well, let's quickly address some of the issues that have been raised. First of all, the one you raised. My take is that Venezuela's challenges are much more than the challenges of Nigeria. First and foremost, to be very blunt, they are up against the might and power. Prince, can you mute, please? Prince Igo. Prince, can you mute?
Right, us, I will mute him now.
He's busy talking, not listening.
We'll mute him.
Okay, so they're up fundamentally against the might of the USA, so that I think their circumstances are quite different. But the truth of the matter is that if you mismanage, if you can't manage cowries, and you can't manage gold, and you can't manage cash, what makes you think you can manage crypto? You know, I think these are some fundamental questions. So really, issues of economy are not about their productivity. Are we productive? If we are productive, if we produce value, then people will demand, whether it is our salt or our gold or our cash, or whatever it is. After all, when you think about cash, the US currency is printed on paper, just like the Naira is printed on paper. So it's not the paper that's the issue. It's not the printing. It's the value behind it that's the critical issue. So I hope that helps in addressing your Venezuela issue. Though there are similarities in the sense that Venezuela is basically a mono economy, oil, and as we all know, if we are not careful, soon we'll have to drink the oil ourselves. Prince, please, Allah, let me mute yourself. Thank you. We'll have to drink that oil because nobody else may want it. So we have to learn how to process it. Just to quickly address a couple of questions before I jump into some of the additional things I wanted to say. Digital currency, like any other currency, is a tool. It's an economic tool. It's how you use it. I mentioned there is a difference between digital and crypto. They are basically on the same platform, technical platform, the same technology, and that is blockchain. But one is designed, developed, and produced and sanctioned by government. That's digital currency. And the other is not done by government, which is what we call cryptocurrency. And then there are digital or cryptocurrencies have been used in several countries at the grassroots. I can recall an example from Cyprus. About 5 or 6 villages within an area, if we can say like a local government, they've been going through hard times. The general economy of the country was having problems. And so they started a trade by barter. So maybe I have tomatoes as a farmer. If you agree to repair my tractor, I will give you tomatoes. So they now realize that trade by barter system was not working very well, because then when you get into things like bread and somebody needs to pay for other bills, utilities, electricity, diesel, it started getting complicated. So they actually developed their own village, or what I'll call local government cryptocurrency. Like I said, currency, it doesn't matter the medium. It's a trusted intermediary of value. Today, if we all agree that this biro, I can exchange it for a Range Rover, then I can go and buy a Range Rover with it because somebody trusts that he can take it somewhere else and get, I don't know, down payment for a house. It's about the trust in the medium. So if I could quickly share my screen so that I could actually just touch on some of the issues I wanted to also touch upon. I wanted to basically talk about 3 broad examples of some of the currencies we are seeing. The first one is the one many of you have heard about. It's called Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is basically a decentralized currency. We don't know who created it. Allegedly, a Japanese man who we have a name, but nobody has actually knows who he is, or nobody is admitting to knowing who he is. And it's basically something that is not regulated. So it means our regulators do not actually have control over it. Prior to the ban in Nigeria, at least $400 million annually was being turned over. And in Kenya, almost $50 million annually was being turned over. Now, I think the thing we all have to understand is that really our youth, when it comes to Bitcoin, have already moved on. They've moved forward with it. But the issue is that we still need to factor it into our strategic planning. It's not going away. The banning is not going to stop it. And in fact, the banning, anyway, let me not get into that. So why is Bitcoin appreciating the way it's appreciating? And there are many reasons. One of the reasons is that people believe the US has mishandled its economy, which has gotten worse due to COVID. It's overprinting money. When you have too much cash money, printed money in supply, then obviously the value of that money begins to drop. And so the value of the US dollar against Bitcoin has been dropping. But we interpret it as the value of Bitcoin increasing. I don't know if that makes sense, because when we look at the value of Naira against dollar, we see Naira dropping, but actually arguably it is also the dollar increasing. So bottom line with Bitcoin, as a nation, we do not have control over it, long and short. The second currency is a currency by a private company. It's called Diem. It's coming out probably later this year. It's produced by Facebook. Facebook initially tried with the Libra currency. It had problems with the US regulator and basically went back to the drawing board, and now Diem is coming out. Some of you may appreciate that there have been some issues with WhatsApp and its licensing requirements since about November, December last year into this year. The reason that Facebook, which owns WhatsApp, is very anxious to get that new license, for us to agree to the new licensing, is because on the one hand, it's merging the back ends of Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp for its own corporate efficiency, but also in preparation for the advent of its own digital currency called Bitcoin. Now, called Diem. Now, in the case of Diem, also, who does Facebook answer to? Facebook, first and foremost, answers to its shareholders. Secondly, Facebook answers to US regulators. It does not answer to us in Nigeria. Let's be very honest. Even if we get them registered here, by and large, they do not answer to us. The third currency, which you see at the bottom right of my screen, is the digital yuan, which is an initiative by China. Now, the Chinese really, in the back of their minds, really want to challenge the US dollar. But they realize that it's going to be difficult to challenge it on the traditional cash platform. So they are trying to get one step or a few steps ahead and challenge the dollar in the digital era. Now, the difficulty with the Chinese yuan for us in Africa, not just Nigeria, is that one, most of us in Africa, our countries owe China a lot of money. He who pays the piper, ladies and gentlemen, calls the tune. So China has a lot of advantages. I'm not saying this as supporting them. I'm just trying to be very blunt and factual. The second advantage that China has in this digital currency is that in Africa, at least 50% of all smartphones are from China, made in China. So they already have that platform. What is worse is that 70% of our network infrastructure, plus or minus, is Chinese. And indeed, the Huawei Mate 40, which was launched in South Africa in October 2020, has a hardware digital wallet inbuilt, so as to make it easy for us to slide into it, to slip into it, and begin to use it. So this is, for me, big strategic questions for us in Africa that we must deal with. And I want to call upon the leaders in Africa, including Nigeria, to instruct their central banks to develop, in collaboration with each other, an African digital currency that now drives the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. This is a new agreement to facilitate trade across Africa. And it is a unique, it's not even a once in a generation opportunity. It is a historic once in history opportunity that if you want to drive a continental free trade area where you make transactions, you make business exchange easy, then you must make the platform easy. So I call on African governments, including, in fact, I think Nigeria should lead it. We have the capacity, we have the knowledge, we have the insight. We need to domesticate these digital platforms, especially the currency platforms. But I think it's not good enough simply for it to be Nigerian. It needs to be an Africa-wide platform. Having said that, I do very, very want to appreciate an announcement on the 10th of June, which was just a few days ago, by the central bank that basically said they have been looking at the digital currency for at least 2 years, which means they've been thinking about it. I wish they had been thinking about it for 10 years, but 2 years at least. And they want to launch a pilot by the end of this year. I think this is commendable. And so while it is not clear that the CBN has the appetite to lead other countries, at least let us be grateful that we are moving. So really on that note, I do want to appreciate the CBN for some, the CBN, but let us broaden our strategic interests. Let us look at instead of the 200 million people in Nigeria or 220 million, let us look at the 1.3 billion market, the 1.3 billion people across Africa. Then we are talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alhaji. That's for me an insightful one. Getting the after into all of this. I know at the time West Africa was looking at an eco currency. We shouldn't bother ourselves again with this money, with this physical money. I think it's time for us to look beyond our shores so that after can really be what they say it should be. Because right now everybody's afraid. Are we serious as Africans to get this continental free trade area work as we have seen in other places? Thank you very much, sir. For our remaining guests, I think at this point our eyes should be on questions. Thank God you already had your slides. It's only Doc that couldn't bring up her slide, but I assure you at the back end we're going to have that slide. Doc, is there any question you want to take? Doctor?
Thank you.
As we start rounding up. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me just look at some of the questions and also add to what Alhaji said. Yes. Somebody said, how can we take it to grassroots? So looking at the Nigerian perspective, I want to say that it's already at the grassroots. I was once approached by a parent who happens to be a market woman that is not literate, that said, someone wants her to invest in this particular, whatever, I think Bitcoin or so. So the people at the grassroots presently might not be using it to exchange goods and services, but believe me, they are already trading. Some of them have a particular amount of Bitcoin that they are using to trade. maybe somebody is doing it for them, but I just want to emphasize that it's already at the grassroots.
Yeah, the
Also,
awareness.
somebody was saying, is it technology tool or economic tool? I want to say it is both. It's driving the economy, and it also has a technology behind it, which is the blockchain that has already been discussed. And we have people writing algorithms every day to increase the performance of blockchain. I also have people that have a negative values that want to actually bring down that algorithm. So it's actually like a technology tool that have different algorithms behind it to make it work. Somebody also asked if it's a form of secret trading. One of the benefits of cryptocurrency is the secret identity. The people who use them can keep their identity a secret, anonymous, without you knowing this is this. And I think I listened to the acting director of EFCC some days ago that said they already set up their own accounts because they realized that they have a lot of people that they want to collect money from, but they can't get the money because they have already invested it in cryptocurrency. So what they do is, okay, if you can't pay us back using our own currency, you transfer to them. That was what he said. So if the government is already, that government agency is already keen into it to ensure that they can get back stolen money from criminals, I think we should begin to look at it if it's what we can all invest in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abimbola. Thank you very much. As I bring up Dr. Kenneth, you touched more on the issues, working against this, the security issues. Hence, you mentioned the cyber security concerns. I want you to tell us, for our nation, you think the legal and legislative framework Nigeria has adopted to handle cyber challenges, are we up to speed? Is it something we can beat our chest that any cyber attack, once we get you, there's enough legal framework on ground to get people answer to the music as the case is? Yeah, these are the remedies, So in the legislative framework, are we there, or do we need to keep practicing and getting experience and getting our laws better? Or is it something that we can learn from others who are already far ahead of us? And do we have a very strong framework in our legislation, sir? Dr. Kent, sir.
Many thanks. Thank you so much. So when I talked about stronger legal framework, yes, Nigeria is doing very well, but we still have a lot of room for improvement. This is because societies evolve and we keep adjusting based on current realities. Take, for example, the experience of COVID. COVID has changed a lot of things, especially digital behavior. For that reason, our legal framework also has to go through some level of refinement. Having said that, I also need to commend the federal government for all efforts to really give a lot of attention to cybersecurity and the protection of our digital space, especially now that we are talking about cryptocurrencies. This is something that is commendable. Beyond that, we also need to do two more things. Number one, we need to take care of attribution, which is identifying people who are culpable to cybersecurity breaches and then invoking the law against such people. We have various legislation so far, the 2015 Cybercrime Act. We also have the Evidence Act and so on. These need to be implemented to the letter. Because once we get them implemented, that will also help to deter other attackers. The second point I also want to make is the fact that you can never take away the place of awareness, orientation, capacity building, and training. And I mean training in cybersecurity, especially for the protection of the digital space. Everything about digital money is transacted online. You don't see anything physical. And because of that mobility, because it is very easy to move virtual funds across geographies, it now becomes also easy for criminal-minded entities to manipulate data, to take advantage of this, and of course, the anonymity on the internet to perform havoc. Therefore, the only way we can deepen our understanding of the cyberspace to be able to identify this is through awareness. All of us have a responsibility. Government has a responsibility, regulatory organizations, and so on. We all need to work as a team and then come up with strategies that are well suited to manage this and then propagate orientation all around. That's my contribution. Thank you so much.
Doc, thank you very much. That was a very straight to the point. Thank you very much. And we still have Mr. Chris, who will also need a wrap up. Mr. Chris, welcome again. Okay, maybe you have something to wrap up with. I was just looking whether there's any question I want to drop so that you start wrapping up from there. But just let's have your final thoughts. I will check whether there's a question that we needed to handle so that you take up from there.
Okay, so my colleagues, my respected colleagues, they've done justice to almost everything I was going to talk about. But still, let's look at the future of the economy with digital currencies, right? So currently we know that a lot of our adult population are unbanked, and mobile money has been improving over time. I remember back in 2001, Kenya already had M-Pesa and was already working, right? We had value card and all that, in the beginning. So to put it in perspective, Nigeria has always been in the top 5 when it comes to the actual implementation of digital money, across the world. So we've been doing very, very well. It's not new to us. So the fact that we're a bit late to the digital currency market, it's because of a couple of issues that we've had in the past. So Alhaji also mentioned that the CBN is already planning to implement a CBDC by the end of this year. 80% of central banks across the world, actually 86%, are already considering, having a CBDC. So what that means is almost every country in the world will eventually have one. They have their own digital currency. The top use case that I see has been remittance, from people in the diaspora. We have Nigerians, in the US, UK, Canada, Europe, who remit money. And from what we've seen, about 9% of that remittance goes as bank charges, as transfer charges. Those are some of the use cases that could help users switch to digital currencies. I think we need to mute the microphone. All right. So one of the problems we see is about illiteracy. Illiteracy is a serious hindrance to the adoption of cryptocurrencies eventually, and we hope that that will eventually change. So what is in it for us? This is my final one. How do we, as IT experts, as economists, as value-added people who add value to the economy, how do we stay relevant? So we need to build extra skills in IT. It's not enough to be a computer science graduate or just to hold one qualification. We need to diversify. I've seen medical doctors, I've seen engineers who have started coding big time and were into development, because we've seen that fintech is always going to be relevant. So fintech has been the driving force. We've seen a lot of improvement in the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave, and the rest of that. We have about 250 plus fintech companies in Nigeria today, employing people and driving us forward, bringing in foreign direct investment. So that's also going to continue. Also, we also need to learn about investment from experts. I'm not an expert, so you also need to do your own research when you read the likes of Nairametrics that provide a lot of good value for investment. Also, Doctor has also mentioned, has stressed over and over again, that we need to be cybersecurity conscious, especially with our investment. And also we need to keep an eye on value. That's one thing that I find missing. A lot of us, we just want quick money. So that's why a lot of people turn to the likes of Bitcoin and the rest, like the doctor mentioned from Miller, because we want quick money. We are not looking at value. We need to reorient ourselves to provide value. And like I said, every country eventually issues CBDC. So if you have skills in place to develop blockchain technology or to build applications, you're always going to be in high demand. And also, when it comes to drafting policies that secure and govern digital currency applications, for banks or for end users, that could also be an opportunity for us to tap into.
Thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
Chris. Thank you, Mr. Chris. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have our panelists. We have their papers, and those who registered, you're going to have these presentations after this meeting. Remember, we discussed digital money and the future economy, especially our economy in Nigeria. Before I bring my vice chair, Nigerian Computer Society Abuja chapter, and the secretary, I want to bring my chair again. Like we said, one of our sponsors has this gift for 10 participants here. My chairman will come on screen now to tell us who they are, and that's a package worth some dollars. He's going to tell us about that. So let me welcome our chair, Mr. Olusegun Alabi. Please, sir, let's know who and who has been able to be among these 10 that participated in this webinar today.
All right, sir. Mr. Moderator, thank you very much. And I really thank our panelists also. What we actually got is this. We have 5 Sophos home premium licenses from Sophos. Then we have 10 EC Council certification voucher from CSEC. Yeah, but it's very difficult for us to say that, to identify who we are giving. But the only one that we know that it will not be partial enough is the punctuality. So we are able to actually capture some names, 10 names that came early. And in this, we are going to select only 5 of them. So it is a poll. I've launched it now. Everybody should have it. So you will select 5 of these 10 that will win the 5 EC Council CSC voucher. Yeah, so 5 people. So just select 5, then and those 5 we're going to give this voucher to. So the other gift, we're going to analyze behind the scenes. Since we have the record of participants, get in touch with those that actually win in those other categories. So the polling has started. So I could see that people are voting more than 5 people, but what we select is the highest, the 5 highest. So 20 seconds more. Ten seconds more. Five seconds more. 2 seconds. 1 second. And end. All right, so in this, we see the first is Emmanuel Awoyemi, got 62%. Chizom Eze got 52%. Then Umaru Musa also got 52%. Then we have 48% goes to Ellen Ijewere. 48 after 48. I got 38. Yes. 38 is Chike Chiagbauzu. Yeah. So these people, we're going to contact them for the EC Council certification voucher. Then others, at the end, we're going to get in touch with all of us. So thank you very much. Mr. Moderator. Okay, let me just go from here. We have some announcement before we go to photo stands. I'll call Madam Fisi to do that. Our announcement that we have, actually this is meant for members and some non-members too. Yeah, NCS Abuja chapter membership meeting we hold on July 8th. And this one, we're going to make it physical meeting. So we expect that our members participate in this meeting. Then the NCS Abuja elections we hold in July. The electoral committee is working hard to do this, but they have not given us a date. Then NCS National Conference is holding on August 3rd to 5th at Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. So let us prepare to attend, plan and prepare to attend. Then non-members that are among us too, we can participate in the conference. And this is an opportunity also to become members. So because the annual induction takes place in the conference. So if you are able to process your membership now, you'll be able to be inducted in August at the conference. Then we implore the IT professionals that are not yet members to join. If you are an IT professional and you are practicing, but you are not a member of the Nigerian Computer Society, you are committing crime. And the crime you are committing, the worst part of it is that it's to yourself, because you are actually shortchanging yourself by not belonging to the professional body where you practice. So let us try as much as possible to get ourselves involved in this. So thank you very much all. So I'll call the Vice Chairman, Ms. Miriam Chukwemeka, for the vote of thanks. Vice Chairman.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay,
good evening, professional colleagues. Good evening, panelists, and good evening, everyone. I must sincerely appreciate everyone for making this time to attend the TECHIES Hangout. We also hope that the next TECHIES Hangout will be physical so that we can see ourselves once again. I sincerely want to appreciate Dr. Ken, who happens to be my boss in the office. Alaji Ajijola, Dr. Bimbola, Mr. Chris, and the team of the executives that put this together, not forgetting my brother Mazi and other moderators. I sincerely want to appreciate everyone, all the participants that stayed up till now. It's about 4:34. We appreciate your time. Like the chairman has said, our general meeting is in, I think, July 8th. Yeah, July 8th. Then the annual conference, which we hold in Uyo, is from the August 3rd and 5th. It's actually, it's going to be a hybrid conference this time around, the physical and the virtual. On behalf of the executive, I want to say thank you. Still keep safe. COVID is still out there. And see you at our next meeting. Thank you and God bless.
I thank you very much, Madam Fisi. And let me just add my voice to that. I was scared some hours to the event when Dr. Ken told me that he has been hijacked into one ad hoc meeting like that, that he may not show up. I said, no, oh, guy, you have to. And also, that one passed a little. Elijah Ajijola called again that he was in somewhere that may not. I said, well, deal. But thank you. At the end of the day, we are able to have everyone join. And your contributions have been so impactful, and which we hope to come out with a report on this that will form part of what NCS, the National Secretariat, we use in advising the government. So thank you very much. Our participants, some have joined even like 45 minutes before the program. So we really thank you, and we appreciate everyone. Marcy, thank you very much for all this. Then we'll get in touch with whosoever the back end result of the poll come out with. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of us. Then in closing this, we take our national pledge for the closing prayer. So we can all unmute to read this. 1, 2, go. I pledge to Nigeria
to be faithful,
loyal, and honest.
serve Nigeria with
And her so help me God.
So help me God.
Amen. So thank you all. You could put your camera, let's see your face.
That's Patrick.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Oh, the faces I know. Okay. Mrs. Kudwak. Okay. Mr. Oluwole too.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chike. Yeah, Madam Treasurer.
No, item 7.
Thank you, Madam Filola. Yeah. Dr. Patrick too. We saw you. Thanks.
Thank you,
Alaji,
Mr.
thank you
Chairman.
so much for pulling out of your program. And Dr. Ken. Dr. Bimbola. Okay.
Well done.
So thank you very much. Mr. Chris Odutola, thank you also. Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
We'll be calling you for our next program soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chooks, you managed to come.